The last unit of the U.S. Army that I was embedded with was the 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment. Their responsibility is to protect a 2,500-mile swath of wasteland along the Syrian border. The 3rd ACR has one of the tougher jobs in the U.S. Army. They're one of the smallest battalions, yet they have one of the largest pieces of territory to defend, and one of the most volatile as well. This is the wild, wild west of Iraq. It is this border where all of the insurgents, illegal weapons, drugs, and everything that is pouring into this country come into Iraq. The word spread through the ABC News Bureau that there was a unit out in the middle of nowhere in the Syrian border area in the desert that no reporter in their right mind would ever go be embedded with. Number one, because it's in the middle of nowhere, and number two, because they see so much action that it's probably one of the most dangerous yet unappreciated places in the country. When I heard that, I immediately signed up for this service.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. Be on the front line and spend some time actually being a soldier. Sergeant Johnny Shaw told me that I would be spending my time in the bottom of the tank, inside the tank, where I couldn't even see. What I really wanted to do was to ride in the front position of a tank. He told me that if I wanted to take the gunner's position, which was the position right next to the tank commander, that I would have to become weapons certified. The reason I put myself through this training was so that I could go on a day patrol, and more importantly, on a night patrol along the Syrian border. Exactly at 6 o'clock, the unit met for a briefing.
What we're looking for tonight, looking for anything obviously out of the ordinary, but everybody knows this part of town, from northeast corner, southeast corner, that is somewhere in those areas is where those mortars that have been firing at the border checkpoint are originating from.
We rolled out into the dusty town of Al-Qaim. We got on a foot patrol and went door to door through the worst neighborhood of this village looking for insurgents, smuggled goods, and buried mortar tubes.
I have money. Yes, maybe if you can help me, maybe somebody lives here, lives there. Yes. Did you hear today Did you hear today? Did you listen today?
Yes.
The boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
There?
Yes.
You know that killed 2 little babies, Iraqi babies.
Yes.
2. Yes.
You see anything significant?
No, I mean, just trying to build a little rapport with the guys before we try to throw money at him.
I know.
But
That one too.
what does it say?
Oh, it says long life for Saddam, long life for Mujahideen. We're still in there.
The second night that I went out on the night patrol was a much different night because we were actually doing an operation that the Army calls harass and intimidate. It's an operation that they conduct when they don't know where the insurgents are, but they know they're somewhere in the town. After they've enforced the 9 o'clock curfew and made sure that everybody's off the streets, 2 Bradley fighting vehicles, which are like small tanks, and 2 A1 Abrams tanks will line up parallel with each other and one at a time fire all of their weapons down a dry riverbed right in the middle of this village. It's meant to wake up the residents of the town, to let them know that these guns are loaded, that they work, and that the U.S. Army is not to be messed with. On the other hand, it possibly creates more harm than it does good because it breaks windows, it upsets people in their sleep, and it frustrates those who might be kind of borderline between how they feel about the U.S. military presence there. It was a pretty amazing experience. And I noticed after we dropped the smoke grenades that a number of those grenades didn't burn out the way they were supposed to. And actually, I noticed 2 houses that caught on fire as we were pulling out of there that night. I guess that's one of the casualties of war, and I certainly hope that that fire was put out. Personally, the experience of riding on these tanks at night, firing the weapons, including the big gun, on one hand is an amazing testosterone rush that's hard to duplicate on any other level, and I can kind of understand why people want to join the military. On the other hand, I put myself in the position of the villagers and how they would feel if a foreign army came rolling down their street at night in tanks and decided to open fire in the middle of their village. What if somebody came to your town and they said that they were your allies and they were here to liberate you and they were here to give you a better life and more freedom, and instead what happened is the crime rate went up, the traffic lights stopped working, and you couldn't go out of your house after dark? Then the army that they put in to protect you goes down your street and starts firing all of their huge weapons right down the middle of your block. Is this an army that you're going to continue to like and welcome in your country? Or is this a presence that you're going to learn to resent?
Mike, I pass by this house every day, and every day there's little girls on the street.
Yeah.
Looking desperate, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Here, we're going to have a happy day today, okay? Who loves you? Major Shaw loves you, okay?
I'd like to say something. I'd like to say something to the world. To the world. To every person in this world. We are now suffering too much. I'd like to everyone in this world to look at us, in USA especially. Anyone in USA, I want to speak to any person, to every person who he had the humanity, to look to us and to see our suffering. We are destroyed, really destroyed. If they are talking for democracy, for freedom, these things will never be done in this situation. The Iraqi people, they want the freedom, of course, but also they want their freedom, the real freedom. We want to decide our future by ourselves. By ourselves. This is the freedom. This is the real freedom.